I think one thing that this season did, contrary to the last two, just gives me a lot of hope and confidence in the continuity of the team with Vlatko as coach. With the new GM, there's clearly a kind of a structure in how they're trying to build the team and what they like in their players. I feel like we're going to be that team that competes every single year. We may not win it every year, or be in a finals or a semifinal, but we're always going to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. We're always going to be there. This team is, I don't think we'll take a year off in terms of quality or play.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Happy holidays, listeners. What is going on? It is another episode of Currently on No Other Pod. It's been a bit. I don't even know if we know how to do this anymore, but we're going to give it a shot because I'm recording on my birthday. Chris Wright is here with me, Daniel Kooser. Chris, what's up, dog?
I mean, I'm going to feel like a terrible friend. I didn't know today was your birthday.
Yeah, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with it. I kind of keep it hush, man. I don't really celebrate me. Like, I don't really need all that.
Yeah.
I like to buy gifts for myself. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
Got a little grandparent birthday money. I was like, okay, there's some new shoes that look pretty good. But yeah, things are good, man. God, it's been a bit. What have you been doing? How are you?
I mean, setting up to record, I kind of forgot how to do it. Like, it feels like it's been a while, even though it really hasn't been that long. But it kind of makes me reminisce when we went to, what was it, Main Event years ago for your birthday. Was that correct?
Main Event. That was in Olathe, right?
Yeah.
That's a fun little place. I call it Dave and Buster's Light. That's kind of what it is, but it's a neat little place. Probably cheaper than Dave and Buster's, if we're being honest.
We played a lot of I don't know what the name of the game was, but like the Time Cop, the shooter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We were on that. There we go. Time Crisis. Time Cop.
But I think we were playing the Terminator version. I think we had like rifles and stuff.
Okay,
that was kind of fun.
Kind
of wish I had one of those in my house. Would probably never leave the basement because that shit's just fun, dude. It's been a bit, you guys, and we're this episode, and thank you for being here. We appreciate it, and we're going to reminisce about all things KC Current and NWSL and what the season was, what it could have been, highs, lows, memories, all that kind of stuff. I'm excited about this episode, man. I feel like, it's a little season, little holiday wrap up. We're going to tie a bow on the season that was. Free agencies here. Trades are taking place in the league. Like, people are kind of going to start shaping up their rosters for preseason next year, which is very soon. So
preseason's in late February, early March or something like that. We don't have the schedule, but I'm just kind of going off of memory. If I remember correctly, season started towards the tail end of March or mid-March. So
a lot of times they start getting after it at the end of January, right?
Yeah,
at least that's how MLS was, maybe. I think this is a little later start than MLS, isn't it?
Yeah. It's tough to tell. A lot of it was kind of hinged on the draft as well as kind of that big event, in the off season. Clearly don't have that this year. So it's going to be kind of interesting, unpredictable in terms of, what kind of roster updates may or may not happen.
Oh, totally. Dude, we're going to talk about all, who got re-signed, who got extended, who's out of contract, who was released, stuff like that. Dude, sorry, I'm just all over the freaking place, dude. I'm in another play, by the way. I'm not sure if I told you that.
No.
Little comedy called Unnecessary Farce.
Are we even friends, by the way? Like, I didn't know your birthday. You didn't tell me it was a play. You didn't want to go. You didn't want to go to AEW with me. Like, what's going on here?
Listen, honestly, bro, if it was WWE, I probably already had tickets if it was WWE.
You would have tickets, and you probably wouldn't have even invited me. I would have had to go sit by myself.
You don't like WWE. Like, you're not very interested.
That's true. That's true.
But you would have. Oh man, I'm just on blast today. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I'm on blast. No, you knew I was in a show because you were like, "How's rehearsals going?" I think I just assumed, you're like, he's always in a show. I'll just ask how rehearsals are going.
Well, I didn't know if that was improv too, since you
Sure.
so darn many.
Do some workshops there. No, man, I am. I'm leading this little play. It's very funny, very crazy. If you know what a farce is, it's very, misdirection, mistaken identity, running around, doors in and out, Scooby-Doo shit, right? So, very fun. Man, where do we want to start here today? I mean, do you just start with the obvious roster updates for the club?
Let's I'm going to pick on a topic because I have it up on my tab here, and that's Claire Hutton being named finalist for Young Female Player of the Year. So
U.S. Soccer
U.S.
Young Female Player of the Year.
Correct. Fantastic. I don't think when we signed her as as one of the young players coming in, and the new CBA kind of allowing for that she would be. I mean, they probably knew she'd be as good as she is or as successful, but we didn't know, right?
Right.
How are we going to have a defensive mid? We were terrified because at the time, Desi didn't re-sign. Also coming off an injury, right? We just didn't know how that position would play out. But I mean, for the current 19 starts, 22 appearances, got better as the year went on. Could have had a couple goals, some great saves by the keeper. She's part of our starting 11, right? When you have your best 11 out there, she's out there. And the fact that she is, so young, just celebrated her 19th or will celebrate her 19th birthday. Sky's the limit for her. Very lucky to have her. She's in a great place to grow and succeed here in Kansas City. So
I always felt like she made us a better team. I always felt like when she was gone with U.S. Soccer or not in the starting 11, I always felt a feeling of like, man, she's not on the field like that. It's going to feel different. She really anchored that freaking midfield, man. And to say that a young player has such an impact on a club of this caliber is huge. I don't want to say she's not a star because she is a star. She's a star in the making, dude. Like, no one knew her name, but they're gonna. And this isn't a campaign for us to get you to vote for her because voting's closed. They will announce the results in January, I believe. So hopefully she gets that. That'll be a huge accolade for her. Nice little, consolation prize to, NWSL Cup or whatever. So,
to your point, with her off the field, things would get a little crazy, right? Just with her on the field, it felt more controlled. It felt like our possession was better. She cut off passing lanes exceptionally well. She had some highlight reel assists. You can't say enough about her, man. It's just going to be a lot of fun to watch her grow and into an incredible player.
My only complaint about Claire Hutton, yes, I have a complaint, is that she didn't score in the regular season. It sucks, dude. She had such a badass goal in the, God dang it, was it the Summer Cup or was it the other competition?
It was the one where we hosted all the games, I believe.
It was that little women's cup. Is that what it's called? Okay. Still, great goal she had, but I was like, man, if she could have extended that record of like different goal scorers, which is a crazy record that we own now, and I'm not sure that will ever get broken.
It's going to be a long time for that.
It's going to be a long time. I also think it's necessary to mention that Nichelle Prince agreed to a new contract, signing through 2026. That's 2 more years of Nichelle Prince with an option for 2027. Good for her, dude, because earlier in the season, she wasn't getting on the field. We weren't really seeing much of her. Wasn't there a bit of a nagging
injury? She had an injury, and I think they saved her a little bit for the Olympics as well. It was kind of like, let's not expose her to more injury risk leading up to the Olympics.
They cared about the player because Olympics are a dream for players. It's money. They want to participate.
It's a lot of money. It's a financial gain for them too. probably
and a potential medal, an Olympic medal, which is very cool. I'm happy for her, dude. She showed some great things when she got on later in the season, making crucial assists. Ended up getting a goal, being another different goal scorer. It's cool. I think she'll be an asset to our team moving forward.
It gives us a sense of continuity too on this team. Like when Bio was out, she would start, and like you mentioned, a bit of a slow start. But as the season went on, you could tell she felt more comfortable. They knew how to use her. She knew the offense in terms of like where to be to make the most of her time on the field. I mean, right now we got, 5 forwards. Chewinga, Cooper, Alex Pfeiffer is another player who's going to come back. She got hurt early in the year, so that gives her a lot of time to recover, a lot of time to prepare in the offseason. Obviously, Prince and Bia. So, I mean, that attacking lineup is going to be the exact same, right? So that's something to build off of. And we got 5 forwards. They might add another one. So having that continuity, putting her in the position to succeed, I mean, it gives us a lot of depth as well, right? We don't know what our roster is going to look like. The full roster, that gives us a lot of depth if she's not starting.
100%.
High quality depth.
Yeah. One last little thing before we take a small break. Jersey sales, man. They released their top 25 kits, top 25 selling jerseys of the year, and KC Current had the most players. Dude, we had 20% of the players on the jersey sale list. Five players. We didn't get the number 1 spot though. Tim Chewinga was number 2. That's high sale. Lola Bonta was 7th. Dabinia was 10th. Claire Hutton was 18th, followed by Michelle Cooper at 19th, which is crazy. I mean, when you're talking top selling jerseys, I mean, you're ideally, if you're a fan of the club, you're buying a jersey. But even if you're a fan outside of the state, and maybe you don't have an NWSL club near you, so you're like, I'm going to be a KC Current fan. You might buy a Chewinga jersey. It's interesting. I would love to see geographically where a lot of sales come from. Because KC's not as big of a market as Seattle, Angel City, places like that.
I mean, I bet if they did a sales per capita, I don't see how the Current wouldn't be, at the very top. We got 5 players in the top 20, by the way, 5 players in the top 20. And what's wild to me is that, you look at the markets, right? Like Alex Morgan was number 1, Gurma and Jaden Shaw were 4 and 5 for San Diego. That the sheer population, between San Diego and LA and Portland and New York, San Francisco with Bay, the sheer population gives them an incredible advantage in terms of these rankings. But the fact that we could compete with all of them coming in number 2, 7, 10, 18, and 19 just shows you the passion that this city has for this team and how much they're going to support them.
It's pretty cool, man. And it's year after year, you see U.S. national team players that are normally high-selling kits. You want to buy the jersey of someone who's also on the national team. You're going to see them play year-round. I remember Graham Zusi was a hot seller in MLS year
at one point. Yeah.
Beasler, because they were very heavily integrated into the U.S. national team. And here it makes sense. Alex Morgan is number 1. Not to mention she retired, mid-season.
Right.
So kind of a legendary kit to have. But look at our players. There's no national team players there except for Dabinia from Brazil and then Claire Hutton on the U20s. Other than that, you're right. Alex Morgan, Rodman, Gurma, Shaw, Sophia Smith, Sheridan's a national team player for Canada. Rose Lavelle. Sinclair's our last season as well. Mallory Swanson, Kelly O'Hare. These are all national team players for their countries. Impressed, Marta.
Yeah. It's way to go, Kansas
City.
You
keep going, bro. Lynn Williams, Fishlock. I mean, these are all people that have played. Has Fishlock played? Did I misspeak there?
Canada.
Oh, okay. I was like, I feel like I know that name from somewhere.
Yeah.
it's just wild that we have players that compete on this list. So, neat thing. Okay, hey, gonna take a quick break. Come back. More fun to be had. Stay right there.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Bro, I got to tell you about this play real quick before we go forward. I am a cop. Yeah, don't hate me, but I am a cop. No, and it's just, I have to get like real flirty and physical with this other woman in my show. And it's, yeah, dude, it's a lot, and it gets there pretty early. So that's interesting. That's been fun, with someone you've never met before, and you're just like, hey, when do you want to start making out? So that is what it's like to be an actor, especially if you don't know someone. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Let's kiss.
Yeah, that'd be very odd. And I know, Marissa goes to a lot of like rehearsal. She's very involved with theater right now. So like, having your significant other, and probably for the person you're in the scene with, it's probably, it's really,
tell you, it would be unusual, but I have a fucking cool wife, like the coolest. I mean, she'd be like, oh, so how's that going? Like she's not weirded out by it or any kind of weird jealousy, because it's theater. Everyone knows it is what it is.
You're professionals,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. She's in a little show right now, man, for kids. She plays the mom of this elf detective, and she's the creator of the oatmeal raisin cookie, and everyone hates her for that. It's very funny.
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of oatmeal raisins, so I get it.
Exactly. Exactly. I get it. They throw out, dude, last thing, they throw out candy canes to the audience at the end of the show, and it's a fucking war zone. They're like, they're slinging them. And I'm like, I don't want a candy cane. I don't want to make eye contact. I got bonked right in the head. Candy cane right in the forehead. Dude, I got a little bruise the next day from a stupid miniature candy cane. Couldn't believe it.
Are you sure she put a little extra effort on that one?
Well, no, it was just some random lady threw it, and she felt so bad, some other lady in the show. And I was just like, oh my God, I feel like everyone's laughing at me. You think that?
Right.
It's awful. Anywho, I do want to talk about our roster situation going forward. Some main things that have happened. We have 18 players under contract. We mentioned new contracts for Nichelle Prince, Vanessa DiBernardo. We know about that. What we haven't talked about, didn't we? We did exercise options for Reagan Steigletter and Bia, so we do know they'll be around. Steigletter didn't make a whole lot of appearances, like one start, I believe. But Bia was a big deal. Scored 5 goals and 4 assists before having a season-ending injury, so that sucks. Hopefully she'll be back real strong.
Right.
Here's the big thing. We declined options for Sophie Brown, who we haven't seen, who's been on loan, right, to the Super League, and Stina Balasager Pedersen. The option has been declined. So that's interesting, because Balasager had a good little, like, she was in the games, like, quite a bit, but kind of took a seat once Alana Cook came along. Kayla Sharples came along. Like, didn't really need Balasager all that much,
And even then, like, Ball would come in too. Ball played, I think, right back at one point, like, just, it was a 3 back, but she played on the outside. But yeah, it just felt like she would come on towards the tail end of the game, and they really wanted to shore up the defense, get more height on the back line. It's a good example of, you bring in a national team player with a lot of hype, that's great. But at the end of the day, you put your best center backs on the field, right? And that's Sharples and Cook. And, Sharples and Cook, I think, had great chemistry. And, we'll take a look at the stats breakdown. I promise I'm going to do it. I'm excited about it. But once they both came onto the field, they really kind of shut out all competition, Another thing to think about too is we talk about defenders and center backs, and we'll go over that lineup here. But Gabby Robinson,
Yeah.
she's
Sure, Dak.
she's gonna come back and she's gonna fight for that starting spot. Man,
Of course.
she was, I don't know, she was incredible, man. She had like the physicality, the speed. She was learning, how to play the back line and as a pro. And last year, she was a rookie, right? We were watching her go up against like the Carolines and all those top goal scorers. She gained a ton of experience. Obviously, last year our defense was not good, really bad. A lot of moving parts, a lot of reasons. But this year, when she came in, she was incredible. She scored the goal against Racing that like gave us a lead, and then obviously DeMello came back and scored. But she was showing so much promise. So it just really felt like there's not much room for another center back, especially one where we got to use an international roster spot on. She did score, by the way, so that she did contribute to that streak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's a couple things for you as well, man. Nigerian forward Opeyemi Ajakaye. Yep, don't make me say that again. Remains on loan to USL Super League's Carolina Ascent through this year. So, and then forward Hilda Magaya, who we would see every now and then, who I was like, man, this gal needs a goal. Like, get her a goal. She looked fast. She looked hungry. She was here on loan, came in August, but she will be allowed to return to her former club, Mazatlan of the Liga MX Femenil. Of course, we know Desi Scott announced her intention to retire. She's hanging up the boots. And here's where we have a little fun. Anyone need a goalkeeper? Because Katie Frayne, A.D. Franch, and Almut Schult are all out of contract, along with defenders Elizabeth Ball, Mallory Weber, and forward Kristen Hamilton. So under the CBA that was signed with NWSL and the Players Association, all those players are free to negotiate a new contract with any team in the NWSL, including Kansas City. So I would assume they want to stick around. Schultz, I don't know. International players, you never know how things are going because mental health is a bitch. I don't know if you guys know that. Mental health is a bitch. And when you're away from family and friends, things can get crazy. Kids. So you don't know how her time's been here. You hope it's been happy. You hope it's been accommodating and she wants to stay. But no one would blame her for not staying. I selfishly hope she does. She was a monster between the sticks, man. I could absolutely see Franch wanting to go somewhere and be a starter, negotiating with other teams. I could absolutely see that happening. It would break people's hearts, but that's business. Kristen Hamilton didn't get on the field all that much this year. I could see her maybe playing the game and seeing where she can end up to get some playing time, It's interesting. Elizabeth Ball, same. She's kind of in and out of the lineup every now and then. It kills me to think that any of these players could go somewhere else.
Especially since they've been mainstays of this team, of this city, right? They
got a coffee shop, bro.
Yeah, they got the coffee truck. They both do real estate here in Kansas City as well. Ball and Hamilton. They've developed such a relationship with this city, this community, this team, everything around it, man. And that's just what is really frustrating about sports. And it's part of the business. You can't help it. But, these players come to these cities and play, and then they just fall in love with the city and they develop business opportunities. And before you know it, they have to move on or,
it's before they know it, their side hustle is now their main hustle,
Yeah. Or if they want to, continue their passion and their dream of soccer, they got to go to another city, drop what they're doing. It's tough. I really don't know what's going to happen, especially since we got 7 defenders on the roster at this moment. 5 forwards. I think they're going to add, another 1 or 2 pieces to that. Yeah, I don't know if
I've never seen goalkeepers as 0. Like you looked at the roster, 7 defenders, 6 midfielders, 5 forwards, 0 goalkeepers. It's like something's got to be done here. We got to do something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure they got a couple of tricks up their sleeve there. but it's very wild. And like you, I would love to see Schultz back. I don't know if they're going to take the approach of getting 2 veterans or getting like a veteran plus a younger player. Are they going to try to have 3 keepers? I mean, like, are they going to sign one out of college? Like, I don't know kind of how it's going to work out, but I'm really interested to see. But, let's be honest, Kansas City's got to be an attractive place to be a goalkeeper, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, like, if you're a free agent or if there's a trade opportunity, kind of like Kayla mentioned, she got to be a part of that process and choose to go to Kansas City. I wonder if there could be something very similar. So Kansas City is going to be an attractive team, an attractive market, an attractive position for any goalkeeper. I'm just really curious to see what the front office's process is right now.
Absolutely. It's going to feel, dude, there's no worse time than for free agency to like take place than over the holidays. Because it's like from a business standpoint, like you'd like to have your job secured before you get to go spend a lot of holiday money and gather with friends, eat, drink, be merry, all that shit. But if you don't have a secure job, then you're constantly stressing over this break. Like, I just kind of imagine, I'm like, what if Casey Current's like, enjoy the holidays, we'll come back and discuss contract, December 27th or some shit. And it's like, I'd like to discuss it now. I'd like to have a job before I, go pretend to be happy around my family.
I'd like to go to, meet all my family and tell them, hey, I think this is an opportunity I'm taking, not just, I don't know where my life is going. Well, I'll circle back.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's no different than like being in an office setting. If you're, if they're like, hey, well, you're under a performance review, but we'll talk about it after the holidays. Hold up. I'm under performance review? Like, let's talk about it now, please. I would like to do that.
And to be fair, these players that we mentioned, Franch and Schultz, we don't know or afraid, but they may have offers from Kansas City. We don't
might be out there already.
They could be full well knowing that they may be re-signing it, just checking out their options. We don't know, but it is, like you said, it's weird to have 0 goalkeepers.
She has 3 decisions though. Schultz does. I mean, she returns here, she signs with another club in the league, or she goes home to her country. I mean, she's a presence though in goal, man, and anyone will be, honored to have her as part of their club. And I just hope it's us, because I really took a liking to her.
I agree.
You do got a bit of a free agency list though. There's been some movement in the league already. I'm looking at an article here on NWSLsoccer.com. Notable moves in free agency. Madison Curry is signing with the Reign. Sydney Leroux is re-signing with Angel City. Alyssa Nair re-signing with Chicago. And Delaney Sheehan signing with Houston Dash. She was part of that championship run with Gotham. So, but here's who's still on the market, man. Danny Calaprico, who's with San Diego. She started like 18 games for them.
Yeah.
Abby Urseg, we know her. She's probably one of the most accomplished players on this list. Caroline, oh boy, where is she gonna go? I know she was out for most of this season, but that doesn't mean she's not a good player.
I mean, by the way, let me just be giddy for a minute. Could you imagine having Chewinga and Caroline speed-wise on the wings?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to take Cooper out, by the way, but just when you think about speed and just that particular trait, that's like your outside backs. I don't know how you defend that. I don't know how you defend it. But that would be fun to watch.
Would be fun. I could see her probably re-signing with North Carolina.
Right.
They had a decent season. She wanted to be part of it. Didn't really get to participate the way she wanted to. Then there's Marta, who I think the team has confirmed that they're already discussing re-signing her.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if she ever left Orlando after this year.
Yep. Tatum Milazzo. Don't really know about her, but she started a lot of games for Chicago. So there's that. But I think isn't she from Illinois? Yeah, she's native of Illinois. Here's another one for you. Narumi Miura.
I do like her.
I know you do.
I do. I don't know. I'm a sucker for some Japanese creators in the midfield there.
North Carolina needs to keep her. They need to not let her go if they want to keep that roster tight.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she did well in their system. I felt like their system was, didn't feel like it was incredibly possession based. A little bit of me wanted to have like the free Miura kind of sign, like her be more creative. I think she would absolutely excel in Kansas City. I would love it. I don't know if they'll do it because we do have a lot of high quality midfielders, but you can never have enough, right? We've learned that 2 years ago when we looked at and we had like Gautrat, Bernardo, Debinha, we had Lowe. We just had that incredible midfield. And then, half of them were injured through the whole course of the season. So you can never have enough. I would love to see us be able to add her. But that's something I would like to see, but sure. I don't know what they're planning.
Kristen Press, who I think Angel City has already said they are having discussions.
Yeah.
So there's that. Midge Purse, who could, re-sign with Gotham, but could be lured away.
She's coming off an ACL injury as well.
So. Yep, missed most of the season.
Yeah.
And then the last person on this list is Almut Schult, who we just talked about ad nauseum. So, but honorable mentions in there, man. A.D. Franch, Lauren Barnes for the Reign, Kristen Hamilton, Challenge Cup MVP last year.
I'm going to throw a couple at you. Let me throw a couple at you here real quick. Both play for the same team at the moment. I don't know if you're familiar with Kansas City soccer, but what about Becky Sauerbrunn?
Oh, my.
Although, to be fair, I don't think she would have much playing time if she came to Kansas City. So I don't see it happening. It's just, for nostalgia. Coming back under Vladko, she'd have to beat out Cook, Sharples, Robinson, or anybody else that they may have. So that might not be likely, but I would love to see that.
Oh, 100%, man. It's no matter what happens, we're going to see a bit of a different team, but I really hope it's a hungry team by the way things ended this year. So hopefully we can get after it and rack up points early, man. Set the tone, put a gap between you and anybody else. Be like, we're the team to beat, man. Do what Orlando did and just get out to that hot season. That's all said and done. I want to talk about highs and lows for us, man. We went out there. We opened a new stadium. It feels like a culture shift in Kansas City soccer and international soccer, if you will. People were talking about this new stadium. We kept an eye on the building progress last year. We're very excited. And did it live up to our expectations, the stadium?
I think so. I tried not to put too much of an expectation on because, when you throw around numbers like the cost of the building, in context, I don't know what, I don't know how much that is compared to something else, right? Like, I don't know. I really do love the stadium. There's no bad seat in the house, right? No matter where you sit, you're going to have a great seat. I mean, you could dang near be front row or up to the top and you're going to have a great view. I think it's very, I love the brick and mortar, the separate building for like merch. I know that was the first one for the league. That's really nice.
That place gets packed too, by the way.
It does.
And if it's cold outside, it is so hot inside.
The pitch is fantastic.
Food offerings, bro.
Yes. The food offerings are incredible. The only complaint I'll even have is just the width of like the walkways when you're coming and going, like, cause that gets really packed. But everybody who's visited Kansas City, whether it's media, fans coming, no matter who it is, they leave saying incredible things about this stadium. And it's only going to get better with, the development of that area, right? More money is coming into it. There's going to be more shopping. It's just more developed, more restaurants. The city car is going to be extending, not this year, but the following. It should be completed. So, I think they did an incredible thing, building out there, revitalizing the area. Danny Wilniak a couple years ago when we spoke to her said that the Long signed a 50-year lease, if I remember correctly, with the Port Authority. They're not going anywhere. I don't know. It's a monumental moment for women's soccer, and man, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, you got to play devil's advocate with anything. You have to find a negative in something. Like, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that parking lot over there just sucks. It's like, it's such a nice place, and then you pull in on gravel, and it's like, well, that's kind of it's like painted gravel, with the lines on there and shit. It's something, right? It's something, but it's not ideal, and I think that'll probably get changed at some point. I think maybe their pregame festivities aren't as fun. Like when you like stuff before you go in, I think it's a little more tailored to be family friendly, face painting, CPR training. I don't know. I was like, what am I at work? CPR training. But overall, net positive, dude. Had a great time. The quality of the play was good. Like you said, not a bad seat in the place. I can't imagine there's a single person being like, wish we didn't have these seats,
Yeah.
Like, obviously some are better than others, but no one's complaining having a seat. If you have a seat there, you're happy, because not everyone does. It doesn't even seat 12,000 people. It's 11.5. And so that's also kind of a drawback to this. You're like, oh man, you could have really probably maybe sold a 15,000 seat stadium. I don't know. It kind of feels like you undershot yourself a little bit, but who's to say? Because then what if you do 15,000 and you don't get sellouts like you want?
Yeah, I think they took the smart business approach and build what they think they could, like have the consistent kind of sellout or the consistent attendance. And really, build the atmosphere, right? There's nothing worse than you watch Chicago or like Orlando, and they play in a huge stadium. Well, they play in a stadium or meant for men's soccer. So there's, it looks very spotty. Like they don't fill it up. It feels like there's no atmosphere. We certainly have an atmosphere when you come in. And then I imagine the transportation situation, like you said, is something they want to figure out before they add seats. Like it's a disaster as is. You add another 4,000 people. How will that look in terms of like the congestion? We take two different methods of transportation. You do the parking, like I do the bus shuttle route. And honestly, it's worked for us. It got a lot better. The beginning of the year, it was an absolute disaster. Like there was lines, people trying to get in for the bus. They had two places they drop you off, but it wasn't communicated where. There was, people were cutting in lines. Like people were, it was an absolute disaster. But towards the end of the year, they really had it down to a science. And I think they, in my opinion, they deserve a lot of credit for that, because it's not easy to shuttle out thousands of people. Probably at great expense, right? It's not cheap to run those buses for hours. So, credit to, I think it got a lot better. I'll probably be doing it next year. So
nice.
Not too bad.
There's one thing I want to celebrate, maybe the most, of our little podcast journey in 2024. And it's the people we spoke to on this show, man. The people that came on here and like made me nervous to speak to them / kind of fangirl out a little bit. And it started back in March when we had on, for the first guest of the year, Ellie Wheeler, who turned out to be a beast of a player, which we didn't know at the time. You know what I mean? She was new to the club.
She was a rookie fighting for a spot.
100%. And now I'm like best friends with her dad. No, I'm not. I did meet her dad though down in San Antonio. And she was just a blast, dude. Like she had so much fun on here, it seemed, and she gave us so much insight into her play. But after that, we got DiBernardo on here. We talked to Vanessa DiBernardo, who we've been talking about for a few years now, just being real big fans of. And after DiBernardo, man, Izzy Rodriguez came on.
Another person we've been, on that bandwagon, driving that thing.
Yep. Izzy was fantastic. I was like, we're Izzy people, dude. We're DiBernardo boys. We're all of it. And then summertime came. we finally got Elizabeth Ball. We got to talk to Ball about, it was fresh on Gabby Robinson's injury. You know what I mean? Elizabeth Ball was presumably going to take over that spot before we got Alana Cook and Kayla Sharples and had quite the competition at center back. It was pretty wild.
And by the way, real quick on that one, she dropped, it might have been common knowledge elsewhere, but it was the first time I heard about it. That's where she dropped the news about their pitchside coffee truck, by the way. So that was kind of cool. Talking about side hustles and stuff like that, just really getting to the mind of a player who, a veteran player who has to, have side hustles. They got to work to earn extra income. They, just gave a little bit of an insight to that, right? Like Ellie Wheeler, like obviously rookie, just learning the league, but this is a veteran who we got to kind of get into her thought process of making a living outside of soccer and just, that was really cool.
And then the summer happened, and I think we kind of got scared to ask for people because they were very busy. I mean, with the competitions and international
Olympics, and it was tough.
But come November, we were able to get new center back Kayla Sharples on, and she was wonderful too, man. Like I've never had a person on here that I've just been like, wow, what a boring person. Like, at least on the KC Current side. I'm not going to talk about the sporting side. We could get into that if you wanted to. But on the KC Current side, I don't know what Danny Welniak is putting into their heads and training them to be media professionals, or if any training had to be done at all and they're just signing good people. These women came in and were like a blast to be around. I went about my day and had like a great day.
Well, let it be known too. Like we only do about 30 minutes, right? Like they're busy. They're training. They're living life out there. So we only get about 30 minutes. But we have a list of things of topics we like to talk about, and a lot of times we only get to cover half of it because the conversation just flows, and they're so accommodating and so conversational, and it really they enjoy themselves as well. And like you said, man, we couldn't have asked for better people. It's just been a lot of fun having them on.
Been a lot of fun. Those are my highs when it comes to doing this podcast. I get up for them. I get nervous. My ears get red because I'm bashful. But that was my high of the pod, man. And there were highs for the team all year. We kept just breaking records. I mean, you're gonna have to help me. How many different goal scorers scored this year?
18 or 18, I think. I'll check right now.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, was it 18 or 19? I can't even remember. But that happened. And that's a hell of a record. It's almost two starting 11s that scored a goal. And how are you even finding this? How are you even looking it up? Because I just tried. It's not easy. But then we started to have a record of all these, this unbeaten streak we had going, and it carried over from last season. And then that was broken, and Orlando went on to break that. So that was short-lived for us.
It was a good team, though. I mean, we got broken by a damn good team, and there's no shame in losing that to a team that went on and won the championship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We won the frickin' Summer Cup. I was in attendance for that down in San Antonio. That was a blast to be a part of. I don't know if I'll hang around for celebrations in the future because I kept getting asked if I was here to see somebody, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm just taking in the surroundings. I'm just enjoying the celebrations." What would I supposed to? Yeah, I'm here to say hi to Kayla Sharples, I guess. Hey, Kayla. So that felt weird, but obviously, we didn't make the finals, but we did make the playoffs. We made the semifinals, lost to the eventual champions. So that doesn't feel too bad to lose to the champions. In addition to that, man, we had freaking Vlatko up for Coach of the Year. That was an interesting situation. We had many players up for Players of the Year at their position. Chewinga won MVP. This season was great, dude. There's no reason to hang your head over it because the only downfall is just not winning the big one. because things were won. We won some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we hosted a final, by the way. Like, I think we got to show off Kansas City in our stadium and women's soccer, and just overall how much love we have for the sport and for women's sports. We got to show that off to the country and to the world. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, people are really impressed by how much we care about our teams, what we've done for women's soccer, this stadium, and it was nice having a lot of like big national media here in Kansas City to see what we're doing.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
Really cool. I will say it's kind of a tale of two seasons, because which is kind of the way soccer goes sometimes. But at the beginning of the year, when we were dropping massive amounts of goals on people, I mean, the very first game, by the way, we dropped 5 goals at home, and it's like, is this the way the year's going to go? But then we also let in 4 goals. It was a 5-4 win against Portland. And I was like, shit, that's a defensive problem, because it's not sustainable to score 5 goals every game. And that was fun to see Vlatko and the staff and the players really, really tighten up the ship a little bit and be a little more stingy when it comes to letting goals in.
I mean, it all started with Schultz and then Cook and Sharples, right? Like, when you take a look at how many goals we're scoring, especially goals that came through the air, whether it was a corner, whether it was a cross, whether the ball came in from a cross and then ping-ponged around and was put back. At the beginning of the year, we were not able to defend that at all, or very well. Every cross that came in, you're like, oh God, here it comes, kind of a thing. But towards the tail end of or the last half of the season, I mean, we absolutely kind of shored that issue up. Our defense was a lot better. Obviously, we didn't score as many goals, but we also had a lot of injuries as well. Bia being the biggest one that affected our output. I just love to see the fact that Vlatko and staff recognized an issue and didn't just keep going, assuming it was going to get better. They brought in some different players. They might have changed how they were marking, but they clearly made the adjustments. And another thing that I thought was really impressive to me that kind of goes under the radar is how trustworthy he is of his players holding a lead.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll be up by 1 goal or maybe 2, and then we'll bring in, we'll take out our top players and bring in, our game changers, our subs will come in and we'll hold that lead. And to me, that means a lot for Vlatko to have trust in those players to come in and know that they can give some of the starters some rest, and then simultaneously have them, finish off the game.
Oh yeah, dude. 100%. This season contained what I would say, a lot of stats that could be on a trivia question. I mean, like, Chawinga was the first player to score 20 goals in a year. She was the only player to score on every single team in the club. Alex Pfeiffer, youngest player to score in a match, and that was in the first match. Alex Pfeiffer scored, didn't she?
Yeah.
I was just like, well, good for her. I hope we see more of her. And then we didn't. So it's fun to put this to bed. It didn't end the way we wanted, but cheer up, y'all, because it was a hell of a year. I didn't get to go to as many games as I wanted to. I got busy in the summer. I went to about half of them, I think. And I look forward to getting out to more, man. I'm going to have new hips, bro. I might have to move to a handicap section. Just like temporarily, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. while I'm there, I might have to temporarily go be with my people.
I think one thing that this season did, contrary to the last two, just gives me a lot of hope and confidence in the continuity of the team with Vlatko as coach. With the new GM, there's clearly a kind of a structure in how they're trying to build the team and what they like in their players. I feel like we're going to be that team that competes every single year. We may not win it every year, or be in a finals or a semifinal, but we're always going to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. We're always going to be there. This team is, I don't think we'll take a year off in terms of quality or play.
Oh, I hope not, dude. Let's not flip that shit, because for the past couple of years, the best teams have flipped to go on the bottom and then vice versa. We won trophies this year. Like, it's not a failure. We won 2 trophies and an MVP.
Gotham won last year and was in the semifinal this year, so kind of hopefully broke that streak. Yeah, I think we have too many good things going to have those years off, barring major injuries. By the way, let me put that caveat in there. So yeah, it just gives me a lot of confidence and faith that we're just going to be a really good team for a long time.
I agree, man. I'm excited for it. That sums things up here. What, do you got something else you want to talk about?
I just one last thing to kind of do a quick overview of we got 18 players on the roster, right?
Sure.
0 keepers. I don't know who I think will be the keeper. I kind of hope Schultz comes back, but you never know. There could be an international player.
No one would blame her for doing something different.
I don't know if AD Franch will come back or go play elsewhere, because they clearly, I don't want to say they don't see her as a starter, but I feel like they want something different. But I don't know. That just might be a TBD. We'll find out. We got 7 defenders. We got Cook, Mace, Robinson, Izzy, Sharples, Steigletter, and Ellie Wheeler. It's a really solid back line. Midfielders, Debinha, DiBernardo, Feist, who I thought had a good year as well when she came in and played. She was very effective. Hutton, Jericho, and Labonta. And then forwards, Chuhinga, Cooper, Pfeiffer, Prince, and Villa. I mean, as we have 18 players, we're going to add probably 2 or 3 keepers. That gives us 21. It's crazy to think that we could bring in people that I don't know if can knock out some of those players from the starting lineup. It's hard to think about that because I feel like they're all really good. And
could happen.
The depth could start on any other team. So I'm kind of curious to see what type of quality they bring in. But that's still, that's your core, man. Like, that's still our core team is coming back.
Yeah. We'll see. It's Casey Current's not, they're not afraid to bring someone in to change shit up, to challenge people, to challenge the status quo. We thought Elizabeth Ball was going to be anchoring that back line, and we got 2 different center backs that came in and played the majority of the minutes. So
did not mess around at all.
Anything could change, man. Like, you're in sports, your job's not secure. You're fighting every damn day. So but things are about to get real weird, folks. It's going to be, could be some trades, some free agency pickups. We don't know what's going to happen. And until it does, we're going to step away and enjoy our holidays. It's God dang, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever you celebrate, have a hell of a time. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm very pleased that people tuned in to us every year, man, and gave us a reason to do this, because it's very fun. It's very rewarding for me. And to you, man, I enjoy doing this with you. It's a lot of laughs, a lot of good times, and always fun when the team wins.
Yeah, likewise, it's a lot of fun to come on here, and for everybody who listens, man, we would not, be doing this without you guys. So we greatly appreciate it. And
Nick behind the scenes, man,
yeah.
Producer Nick is always back there giving us. He's either commenting on stupid shit we say or giving us
stats if we're starting to find something.
He presses record the best way anyone could press record. I'll tell you that.
And is very flexible with our schedules as well. So
very flexible, and the man grows one hell of a mustache. So if you see him around, you tell him, you let him know.
That's business.
Is this where we sing Auld Lang Syne or whatever, the New Year's song? You know the New Year's song?
No.
What? For all acquaintance be forgot.
It's supposed to be year. No, it sounds
supposed to be now or midnight on New Year's.
Pretty much.
That's how that goes. Yeah.
I would have to hum with you because I don't know the words, but
I don't know anything past that. That's why I stopped.
Okay.
So, okay, folks, thank you again so much. We might come back in 2 weeks. We'll keep things going, but probably won't see you till 2025, I would assume. So, okay. happy birthday to me. For Chris, I'm Daniel. We love you guys so much. See you soon. Bye.